Okay, guys, I wanted to give you a couple of hints for the assignment that I gave you today, especially the Google document, because I could see that there can be some confusion as to what I'm looking for and how you kind of execute the problem. So I stole a couple problems from a worksheet, and I'm going to go through these so when you do them on your assignment, you know exactly what you're looking for. All right, so if we recap here, parallel lines, okay, we're going to determine which of these lines are parallel and which are perpendicular, if any, because it's possible that they don't work. All right, so parallel lines, remember, we're looking for lines that have the same slope. Perpendicular lines, we're looking for lines that have slopes that are opposite reciprocals. We talked about what that was when we talked about perpendicular lines. Okay, remember, if they're perpendicular, they're opposite reciprocals, they're going to multiply to make -1. I gave you that trick. So we'll see if that trick kind of works as we're doing these problems. So if I take a look at number 13, okay, you have three lines in each problem. Okay, in number 13, you have line A, which is y is equal to 2 over 3x minus 4. They did us a favor there because it's written in slope-intercept form. So the slope of this thing is 2 over 3. So there's no work for me to do there. In line B, they weren't as nice. I have 2y minus 3x is equal to 5. So I have to rewrite that in slope-intercept form, which we talked about. Okay, so we have to move the x term across, plus 3x, plus 3x. Okay, 2y is equal to 3x plus 5. Then I'm going to have to divide across the board by 2. Y is equal to, those cancel, y is equal to 3 over 2x plus, I'll keep that 5 over 2, doesn't really matter anyway. Just to pause there for a second, guys, the y-intercept here doesn't really mean anything to us. We are more concerned with the slope. The slope determines if lines are parallel or perpendicular or neither. The y-intercept doesn't mean anything to us. So the slope of that second line, line B, is 3 over 2. And then the last line, we got line C, 6x minus 3y is equal to 10. I got some rearranging to do here. Minus 6x minus 6x negative 3y is equal to, those would cancel, right? Negative 6x plus 10. Divide across the board by -3. And I would get y is equal to negative divided by negative. That gives me a positive 2x. Positive 10 divided by -3, that's roughly -3.3. Not that we really care. The slope is what we're more interested in. The slope of that thing is 2. Okay, now that I know all three of my slopes, I go back and I see if any of them are parallel or perpendicular. Again, if they're parallel, they're going to be the same. Well, if I look at these numbers here, none of them are the same. I got 2 over 3, 3 over 2, and 2. So because I don't have any slopes that are the same, that means I don't have any parallel lines. And then I take a look at opposite reciprocals. Do I have any opposite reciprocals? A lot of people make the mistake of looking at that 2 over 3. Get that back. That's 2 over 3 and the 3 over 2. And they think that they are opposite reciprocals. They're reciprocals because they're flipped over, but they're not opposites. In order to be opposites, one has to be positive and one has to be negative. These are both positive. So there's also no opposite reciprocals, which means there's no perpendicular lines. So on the assignment, you're going to see a box that says something along the lines of no lines are parallel or perpendicular. If this was your problem, you would check that box. We don't have any parallel or perpendicular lines. In number 15, okay, let's take a look at line A. Line A, I got to rearrange. 12x minus 6y is equal to 14. Subtract 12x from each side. Okay, so I got negative 6y is equal to negative 12x plus 14. Divide across the board by -6. Hopefully you're getting comfortable with this by now. Y is equal to negative over negative gives me a positive 2x. 14 divided by -6, that's negative, I believe, negative 2.3. No big deal, doesn't matter. The slope is what we're concerned with. The slope of that thing is 2. Line B, Okay, we got y is equal to -1 over 2x minus 5. They did us a favor in line B. They have it in slope-intercept form. There it is. And then last but not least, I got line C. 10x plus 6y is equal to 1. All right, I got some rearranging to do. Minus 10x from each side. 6y is equal to -10x plus 1. Divide across the board by 6. Cancel. Y is equal to, that would reduce to -5 over 3. X plus, I'll keep that 1 over 6. So the slope is -5 over 3. Okay, the hard part's done. Now I can look at it and see what I got. None of them are the same, right? I got a 2, I got a -1 over 2, and I got a -5 over 3. So they're definitely not the same. All right, so I got no parallel lines again. Then I take a look at opposite reciprocals, okay? 2 and -1 over 2. They are opposite reciprocals, guys. All right, so 2, which is the same as 2 over 1, and then -1 over 2. They are reciprocals because they're the flipped over versions of each other, and they are also opposites. I have a positive and I have a negative. Okay, if I multiply them together, you can check it on a calculator. They are going to multiply to equal -1. That's what opposite reciprocals do. So for this problem, you would check off the box where it says line A is perpendicular, upside down T, to line B. Okay? Line A is perpendicular to line B. Okay, now it is possible, take a look here, I put another example here for you. It is possible to check off more than one box. So let's say you're doing a problem and these are the 3 numbers that you get as your slope. Okay, if these were our 3 numbers, that would make this line and this line parallel because they're the same. So line A would be parallel to line B. Okay, and if you also notice, 4 over 3 is an opposite reciprocal with 3 over 4. So line A is going to be perpendicular to line C, and line B is also going to be perpendicular to line C. So you're actually going to check 3 different boxes here. Okay, you got 3 different things going on. Now, usually, I know that's a little confusing. If we were able to see this graphically, guys, that would be a situation like this. There's a coordinate plane. That would be like having, let's say this was line A, right? Line B, we want to be parallel to it. So line B might be something like that. And then line C is actually perpendicular to them both. So this might be line A, this might be line B, and then there's your line C intersecting them both and making right angles. So that can happen. So don't be confused if you're thinking you got to check off, more than one. I hope I'm stating the obvious here, but you can't have lines be parallel and perpendicular at the same time. If they're parallel, that means they don't cross. Perpendicular lines do cross. So if you checked off that line A and line B are parallel, then they can't be perpendicular. That's not possible. And the same thing reverse. If you checked off that they're perpendicular, they can't be parallel. That's impossible. Okay, so I just wanted to go through these things for you to help you with the assignment. All right, give you some tips so you can navigate that the work a little bit better.